Hello and welcome to Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. I am Elvis, your host, and I'm here to let you know that this is a not safe for work podcast. We're teachers at the end of the week, really the end of our ropes, and we'd like to be able to talk honestly and openly about teaching without having to worry about losing our jobs. So we'll be using pseudonyms throughout the podcast. I'd like to start by thanking all of the patrons over at Patreon for supporting us. That's right, for as little as $5 to $10 a month, you can become a patron of Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. That gives you access to lots of unlisted, unheard content. We have over 100 different episodes, special features, all kinds of things on the Patreon that you will be able to download exclusively. We also have watch parties. We have an amazing Facebook group where you get to chat with the host. It's pretty awesome. So sign up for our Patreon and do it now. And of course, then you get to hear your name listed. A big thank you to Mistress Mischief, Natasha S., Miss Anthropy, Princess Buttercup, Dragon Lady, Sunday L., Kel C., Nicole B., Shannon E., Helena C., Aaron B., Stephanie S., Maggie M., Texas Teacher Kristen, Miss Sunshine, Hattie F., James and Allie J., Jody D., Samantha D., Lisa C., Rachel, Jen Genie, Exhausted Band Director, Kimberly K., Kim K., Jessica A., Swiffle F., Owners, Amanda F., Ariana L., Physics Runner, Steph, Science Teach 17, Michael M., William P., Aldrich T., La Scorpianita, Britt M., Iron Swine, Noelle R., Teresa H., Biker Teach, Marcia M., Christina B., Kristen B., Jason F., Amber H., Abby B., Sarah B., Regina N., Josie S., Sam B., Lucy P., Mary E., Jamie B., Red Violin, Kristen W., Vanessa J., Mary C., RJR, Kristen C., Johanna H., Space Panties, Irma A., Nimi, Melissa M., and Sarah N. Thank all of you guys so much. I'd also like to thank our sponsor at Ludlam Dramatics. If you are a theater teacher or know one in your building, go to Ludlam Dramatics and you can get all kinds of resources for your classroom. There is jack shit for theater teachers if you go to the teacher store. So go to ludlamdramatics.com and you can have everything just shipped to you. It is amazing and beautiful. Teachers, check it out. Well, theater teachers. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of those people, our hosts, the patrons, everybody. I feel like I've been talking for a super long time, and I have. All right, we're doing a rerun this week because I'm on vacation, and I got to go to Las Vegas. I got to hang out with Space Panties, and I just want to take some time for me, so I did not record a podcast episode this week. We will be back next week with new stuff, and of course, if you want to hear more, join the Patreon. There's so much you could download in there. It's remarkable. All right, my friends, this episode is from, it's before pandemic. It's almost 2 years ago, episode 22. I hope you guys enjoy it. Cheers.
All right. You're welcome, Lisa Marie.
All right, thank you, and welcome to Teacher Needs a Drink podcast, episode number 22.
Woo-hoo.
All right, spring break is just a couple of weeks away. We are almost there. Hold it together. Keep breathing.
Incident that happened today. Names are made up. I had to take up Nancy's phone because she was using it during class while they should have been working on an assignment. She appeared to be taking a video. She willingly gave up the phone when I asked for it, and I placed it on my desk. However, after a few minutes of assisting students with their math, I came back to my desk and noticed that the phone was no longer there. I assumed that on the way to or from the restroom, Nancy grabbed it. I quickly announced to the class that the phone was missing, and I know it was taken off my desk when I was helping someone. Nancy remarked that she would no longer give her phone to a teacher when they asked for it again because they can't keep up with it.
Oh, Nancy gonna die.
This comment, by the way, made it so easy for me to do what I was about to do. I gave her a chance to come clean if she knew anything about it, and she chose not to give me anything. I told Nancy if she gave me the number, then I could call it. She replied saying she doesn't know it. I assured her that we'd find it, and I proceeded to call Mom.
Oh.
While I was dialing, I noticed Amber walking away from the area Nancy was to the bookshelves by the door, where she started rifling through the books. Evidently, Nancy passed the phone to her so Amber could hide it. During class, I explained the situation to Mom and that Nancy knows something about it and won't tell me, to which Nancy didn't deny. Then I asked Mom for the number. She gave it to me. I called, and the ring came from the bookshelf, of course.
Shock.
After class, I turned it into the office, and Nancy immediately recovered it by paying the fee. Then I wrote an office referral because she grabbed it off my desk and it caused a disruption. I knew that calling mom would disrupt the class, but I get so tired of students wanting to play me for a fool, and I just wanted everyone in this class to know that I won. For the record, no one breathed a word in that class for a whole 10 minutes after the incident. Yes, I love
Proud
it when
of you,
teachers...
Mr. Phillips.
I'm proud of you, sir.
This is from the Reddits, and it reminds me of, I think when I was in high school, we also read Romeo and Juliet freshman year. Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? And I remember doing this as a freshman, so it made me giggle. I will never tire of Freshman and Romeo and Juliet. I get so pumped and enjoy it so much, but more than anything, I adore watching my little freshmen run around the halls, biting their thumbs at each other and shouting, "Do you quarrel, sir?" It makes my literary heart proud.
Now, I remember doing that freshman or sophomore year with my buddy Craig in the hallways. Like, I bite my thumb at you. Do you bite
your thumb at me, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir, but not at you, sir.
Ms. Sparkles,
I'm
you got
still
anything for
shaking
us?
my head at
Yes,
you.
actually. It's something that Mr. Sparkles and I read earlier today, which is there is a school district not too far from us, and they have started an Esports Academy. So for those who don't know, esports are like video games, and it's actually a pretty booming business. Esports generated $1 billion last year. And so there's different competitions for different games, and it's structured like sports. So you have like a team and a coach and managers. So they're not teaching the kids how to play video games, but what they are teaching them is things that they can use to go into the business of esports. So like cybersecurity and animation, and a lot of our kids are interested in video games. And if we're teaching them valuable skills while also allowing them to play video games, fucking why not?
I basically played video games in 8th grade in a career technology class. You would go every week, you would go to a different rotation, and one rotation was basically The Sims, where you could just build houses the whole time. And I so badly wanted to be an architect because of that game.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I'm not an architect, but it's because they gotta know lots of math.
Yes. It's a great way to engage with kids, and there might be some kids who kind of struggle in like traditional classes because it says that they focus on like math, science, and language skills. If you have a kid who struggles in traditional classes and they can do this and get the same education, but in a way that they don't struggle with, I think that's brilliant.
I could see there coming a point with those games where it's not like football was, where like, oh, the reason we have sports is so we can encourage kids to come to school because they won't come to school for any other reason.
Yeah, look, nerds need a reason to come to school too.
Actually, gaming's not really even a nerd
I was going to say
thing
gamers
anymore.
are not nerds.
No, it's
Everybody
not.
plays video games at this point.
But not
That's
everybody
true.
is a gamer.
And not everybody can be a professional gamer in a $1 billion industry. They anticipate it'll be close to $2 billion in the next 2 years.
That is insane to me. Why? Are people like sitting down watching gaming? Yes,
Yes.
they are, aren't
Yes.
they? Okay.
Yes.
No,
Mr. O'Hare watches. He watches Twitch.
There's a
and
whole
speed
freaking-
runs on YouTube and
Yeah,
all kinds
there's
of
a
things.
fucking esports arena up here.
they're doing these awesome drone races at some of the abandoned malls where, since there's no one really in the
Ooh.
malls, they have these high tech where they wear pretty much drone eye views, but they have to go through these obstacle courses.
That
and it's
sounds
these really
terrifying
intense
and fun.
competitions.
I was going to say, I would watch that.
Yeah,
That
they
sounds
have
Yeah,
exciting.
that sounds like
on
a
the weekends,
blast.
But they do it at one of the local empty malls, and they just zoom, and it's
I'm
awesome.
sorry, I missed that one.
It was zoom.
Thank you.
How do you get into that? Like, I want to do that. Like, I want to play a drone race at
I
a
want
mall.
to do drone.
I want to do drones.
I do drones. I'm this way because I've been doing drones since 7th grade.
That's lit.
All my money.
That's lit.
No cap. Yeet.
I feel like he died a couple years ago. Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
No,
it
it's still a
probably died
thing.
like last week. That's
Now that
why.
we know about it,
R.I.P.
it's
Yeet.
dead.
R.I.P.
By Reddit user Probably Can't Sleep. I'm a teacher, not a miracle worker. Just starting my second year of teaching and trying to create a mindset that is more sustainable. I've been breaking my back to meet the needs of my students, and I feel like vocalizing and accepting that I'm not a miracle worker makes it sound like I'm giving up on my kids that need the most help. I most certainly don't believe that, but I've also come to the conclusion that I don't think I should feel racked with guilt if and when I fail to help a student learn what they need. Am I still motivated to do that? Yes. Is it why I became a teacher? Yes. I'm also done with the idea that teachers have to be perfect in every way in order to be considered a good teacher or even a teacher who is fit to teach. Open to all thoughts and opinions, I'm in a very demanding school environment that seems to expect testing robots of the children and ergo teaching robots of the teachers. Do I want to reach as many kids as possible? Yes. Do I want to be that breakthrough teacher? Yes. I just also think that the expectation that I need to do that with every single kid or be considered less than is not helping anyone.
What are your thoughts, Bud?
I get where they're coming from. Like, it's a hard realization because I think most of us go into teaching definitely wanting to be, like they said, that breakthrough teacher. But around year 2, you have that realization that you're not going to be Mr. Holland to every single kid that walks into your room. I think an analogy that somebody that helped me kind of get over that kind of disillusionment was the metaphor of it being like a plant. You might plant a seed and then maybe later on somebody else waters it and then maybe on somebody else tends it. And then maybe the harvest doesn't come till years later. So maybe you're just the person watering the seed. Maybe you're planting the seed and somebody else waters it later. Maybe you don't get to see the end result, but you try not to get disillusioned by the fact that you're not getting through to every single kid because maybe you're watering the seed. Maybe you're just not the one seeing the harvest.
Right. Well, and I think people forget, like, we teachers were only human and our kids are only human. And there are people my age who I just don't mesh with. And that doesn't mean they're a bad person or I'm a bad person. Just something in our personalities don't match. And that's true for kids too, because kids are just human beings. And so sometimes you have personalities that just don't mesh well. And in an ideal world, it wouldn't matter and we'd be able to get past that. But it can be difficult. You might be trying to connect with a kid in a way that they don't connect with other people.
Right.
You don't know them well enough to know how to get around that. You know what I mean? So we have to let them be human beings and we have to be human beings. And it sucks that you can't be the perfect teacher for every kid, but you can be the perfect teacher for some of them, and that's important.
Sometimes if you can just find the 1 or 2 kids or even small group that you can make a connection with, that will help you get through. Even if it's you have that one good class in the day, like, okay, everything else might be a struggle, but I have this one class. I look forward. I can work with these kids. That goes a really long way in getting you through the day. It's like, okay, I've got this class. This will be fun. This is it. It's not quite as hard because I'm enjoying it. But I really like that analogy. So sometimes you don't get to see the harvest, but you get to plant the seed. I like that a lot.
Well, and kind of to go along with your plants, my mom has told me my entire life that people are like plants and they're all different and, bloom where you were planted. And I remember growing up, I had different teachers who some, like you said, I didn't mesh well with, and they didn't teach a way that I understood. So kids all learn differently. Teachers all teach differently. You can't expect to reach every kid the same way. You just can't. That's just putting too much on you. And if someone expects that from you, they're crazy.
The other analogy I heard is it's like flavors of ice cream. You're not going to be every single kid's favorite flavor of ice cream.
Right.
Mint chocolate chip is freaking delicious, but it's not everybody's favorite. So,
See, look,
right
there you go.
See right there, I could eat my weight in Bluebell mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Nope.
It's not Rosey Rose's favorite, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with mint chocolate chip. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with what flavor do you like, Rosie?
Rocky Road.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with Rocky Road either. But Rocky Road's just not my favorite. There's nothing wrong with any of those flavors, but you're not going to be every kid's favorite flavor of ice cream.
And there are certain things that just weren't right for me at that time in my development or my emotional ability. I remember high school, I had an amazing history teacher, and she was incredible, and I just wasn't mature enough or ready, but I still remember a lot of it. And later I read some of the books that she referenced in class, and I remember these lessons. I'm like, holy shit. I get it now, like 6 years later, 10 years later. I'm like,
25 years later.
that still happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she really knew what she was doing. I just wasn't quite ready for it,
Right.
or I wasn't at a place. And I think it's the same for a lot of kids. Sometimes you'll leave. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be 100% of the kids you teach, but you can still reach a lot. If not that day, it might sink in later.
I remember in 7th grade, our English teacher made us do this workbook thing every week called Joy of Vocabulary.
Gross.
And it was vocabulary words, and we had these quizzes and we had these assignments we had to do, and everybody hated it, and we always gave her such a hard time about it. And she was like, when you get to high school, when you take the SAT, you're going to thank me, you're going to remember this, and you're going to come back and say, Miss McDonald, you were right. We learned and we remembered these words. And everybody's like, yeah, right, Miss McDonald, whatever. And damn it if she wasn't right. I remember seeing words doing SAT prep and being like, damn, we learned that in Miss McDonald's class. Like, I remember that word. I remember the little cartoon I had to draw to go, man, she was right.
You're like, dang it.
Damn it, Miss McDonald.
I had a teacher similar that had SAT words, and we would like chant them in class as an entire class. And we were like, God, this guy's an idiot. But to this day, about 5 of those words have stuck in my head with their meanings because of those stupid chants.
And now, just the tip.
Just the tip. What? Just the tip. Just the tip.
All right. Today's tip is try to connect with each child by name and eye contact and say something personal to build them up every single day. I personally like this at least at some point every kid in your class. Speak to them. You might not realize that there are some teachers and kids that can go a whole day without actually connecting with anyone in the building. They can float through. Even if it's just saying, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? Like, spend those 4 seconds, look at them, say their name when you talk to them. That also helps you remember their name and learn if you don't know them, if you have like 100 kids a day like I do sometimes. But that can make a world of difference in that small connection. Even it's like saying, hey, good job. I like that.
Yeah.
Good
like
job,
your
Sparkles.
backpack.
Thank you, Rosie.
So from Reddit, from teacher Sknull03283, cheers for admin that doesn't back down. Today I walked into the office as a parent was yelling at my early elementary school principal. She, the parent, was told that her daughter could not stay at school. The little girl, who happened to have a birthday that day, had explosive diarrhea that morning at school and was sent home. Mom had taken her to the doctor, got a note saying that she was not contagious, and turned around and brought her directly back to school. She begged my principal to let her try to get through the day. My principal tried to let her know our policy involving diarrhea and vomiting is if she isn't contagious, she cannot be at school until she doesn't vomit or have diarrhea for at least 24 hours. Finally, after at least 10 minutes of the same statements being made over and over, the broken record technique from earlier episodes, Mom says she has to go to court today and the kid needs to be at school. The principal says, then this really isn't about your daughter, then, is it?
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
So kudos to that principal for sticking to
Seriously.
it, especially something like diarrhea, because even if the doctor says it's not contagious, God knows that girl might not wash her hands and touch something, and then everyone in the school ends up getting a stomach
no teacher
bug.
wants to deal with that.
No.
And I'm not going to have her sitting in my office for the entire day because she's pooping her pants.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wish you guys could have seen the look on Nurse Rosey Rose's face as Elvis was reading all of that.
Because the day before Christmas break, I had 2 parents jump up my ass because I called them about coming to pick up their kids. One was running 103 fever.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
And one was absent the day before because she was diagnosed positive with flu. And they thought, oh, it's their holiday party. I need to bring them to school. And they were not happy. They were not happy. They wanted to talk to all the admin. They wanted to scream at me and tell me that I'm terrible and I'm lying and her fever's not that high. And it was just a mess.
I think I was probably in about 2nd or 3rd grade, which probably puts me being about 8 or 9 at the time when I was left home at on sick day. Okay, stay on the couch. I will call at noon during lunch, and I'll come home immediately after work. Just stay inside. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door. Yeah, can't you do that? Can't you just leave your kid at home? I mean, do you get
Nowadays, you'd get CPS
Yes,
called
well,
on
one
you.
of them was a parent arguing with me, telling them that I did not tell her that she had to stay home and that there was a fever rule. The worst part was, little girl goes, Mom, I was standing right here and she did tell us that. And then I told you last night at home that I can't come to school. And I was like, oh, shit. And I just looked at the mom and she was like, have a great break. And I was like, good to you, bye.
Today we have our friends Buddy Holly and Lisa Marie, the young teenagers, here to answer questions for us. You doing all right today, Buddy?
Sure.
Lisa Marie, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Y'all, we have some 80s teen slang that we know, and we want to know if you know it. The first one, bag your face. What does bag your face mean?
Getting beat up.
That's a good guess, Lisa Marie.
I thought about that, but also just putting a bag over your face because you're ugly.
Shut your face.
Ding, ding, ding. Lisa Marie got it. It literally means your face is so unattractive and disturbing to me that I'd like you to wear a paper sack for my own personal comfort.
I like
Elvis,
that.
bag your face.
Bag your face.
I've been told I'm pretty.
Barf me out.
I'm not even gonna try on that one.
Lisa?
What?
Barf me out. Barf me out.
That's literally how you say it. Have you ever watched like Breakfast Club, like any 80s movies?
So barf me out is a reaction to a particularly offensive comment, remark, or piece of news. Example, Janice is dating Steve, like barf me out.
Yes, gag me with a spoon.
Yep, that's on here. Gag me with a spoon.
Well, now we know what that one means.
Yeah. What about motor?
Like, I got a motor.
Car.
Okay, Lisa?
I don't know.
It means I've got to go. So
you
I got
gotta
a
go.
motor. It's like I got to leave.
I got a jet.
Thought it meant like
I got a motor.
or something. I was so confused.
What's your damage?
That's my
What's your
favorite.
problem?
Ding, 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 ding.
Good job, Lisa Marie.
Good.
Do you know what psych is?
Yeah.
Psych?
Like, just kidding.
Yeah. Psych.
Like,
There are
people
so
still
many.
use psych today.
Do they?
Yeah. Like, people still use
You got
Are
another
y'all
one, Spark?
cruising
Let's
for
throw-
a bruising?
Ooh, yeah, you cruising for a bruising?
The only reason I know that is from Teen Beach Movie 2.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. What does it mean?
I just know it from the song. Just
I don't know what it I think it means like a fight, but probably wrong.
Ding,
Like,
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
get
You
beat up?
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could ask somebody, like, if you've got beef with them, hey, are you cruising for a bruising? Meaning, hey, are you messing with me and I'm going to kick your behind?
Would
Means
you like to engage in a physical altercation?
in fisticuffs.
Nay, nay. I'm fine.
From Reddit, sometimes a nap fixes everything. Yeah. Today, one of the students was falling asleep at our morning meeting. Instead of yelling at him for something he can't control, he has shared at our SharePut that he has to get up at 5 a.m. to make it to school from where he had stayed with his family the night before. I had him put his head down before lunch for a 15-minute nap. After lunch, he came back refreshed and thanked me for letting him take a nap, and then he apologized for coming to school tired. This is a second grader, and he has a very rough home life. The fact that he's apologized for something that I know he can't control, and the look on his face when I said, "Don't be sorry," and gave him a hug was priceless. Definitely one of my proudest moments, and it wasn't even a flashy lesson. Yeah, a nap can fix everything. If they could even delay the start of school by 15 minutes or 20 minutes, that would make a world of difference
Oh, man.
for everyone.
Yes.
I mean, let it finish closer to the end of the workday when
Yeah.
parents are getting off and we won't have to spend as much on aftercare.
Wait, what? That makes so much sense.
Developmentally, teenagers' brains
Yes.
do
Yes.
better
Yes,
later
do better
in the
later
morning.
in the day. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why are we making them be functional at 7:30? If a kid falls asleep in class, if it's just like a occasional thing, I'm usually going to let the kid sleep because if something if it's not a regular occurrence for them, then probably something crazy happened and they need the sleep.
And even
if it is a regular
occurrence,
if it is a regular
yeah.
thing, like, hey, is everything okay? And then try to find out more about like what the situation is. If a kid is that tired, then
Like, I had a teacher angrily bring a second grader into my office because she's fell asleep in class again. I said, first of all, you're not going to bring her in here where sick people are. I'm not going to have her take
Because
a nap
she
in the nurse's
fell
office because she
asleep.
felt exactly. Well, I want you to call mom and tell her to come pick her up. And I was like,
Because she's sleepy?
because she's sleeping in class. Yeah.
I'm afraid that doesn't work.
Obviously, something is going on that she's falling asleep every day in your
Right.
class.
I do wish we would have like a break in the school day. And this, I think, could move towards making the school day a little longer. That was like a break in the school day for everybody where we all go to a room. Like students go to a classroom, teachers are in there to supervise. And like we straight up like pre-K style, pull out some mats or some cots.
No, because they try to fill it with conferences, or then some idiot couple would start like giving a hand job and a sleeping bag, and the next thing you know, you wouldn't be allowed to do it anymore, and nap time would be ruined for
no,
everyone.
just put your head down on your
Yeah,
desk
yeah.
There you go.
and take
something.
a siesta.
Yeah, when I was
Everyone
in
hands and
kindergarten,
heads on
that's
the
what we
desk.
did.
Don't
Like,
move
no.
your hands.
If you're in a younger grade, like kindergarten, we had them all on the rug after PE when they're all like sleepy because they've like,
Gone to PE,
exercised a little. We did like yoga, which was really just like stretching and they
Child's
fell asleep
pose.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
child's pose.
Pretty much.
Corpse pose.
Yep.
And they were so good to go for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. Miss Rosey Rose, thanks for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
And Miss Bunny O'Hare, it was good seeing you.
Good to see you too.
And Miss Sparkles.
I love. Wait, let's change that.
Cheers, everybody.
No, redo that. Redo that. Yes. No.
All right. Thank you you for joining us for Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. Teacher Needs a Drink podcast comes out every Wednesday. Make sure if you can to find one person and tell them about us. It's the best way to help spread the word. I'd like to thank my guests, Rosey Rose, Bunny O'Hare, and Miss Sparkles, as well as Buddy Holly and Lisa Marie. And if you have something you'd like to tell us about, go ahead and tag us on Instagram or Facebook, or you can hit our website, teacherneedsdrinkpodcast.com, and hit us through the contact page. I said hit us a lot of times. Make sure you check out our sponsor, lovethemdramatics.com. Follow, subscribe, leave a review, and that's all for now. Bye.
Where's the beef? Remember
Be sure
what?
to tip your waitress. I'll be here all night.
That's what it means now,
Share the burger, yo.
right?